So we're pretty excited about today. Today is the day we get to go solar. So I'm standing in front of my house here in Houston, Texas. Um, we're going to put about 45 panels on the house. So that's 18 kW and solar panels. We're going to use the 405 panels from REC, the pure alphas, in order to pull the powers. We're going to go through an Enphase IQ8A to make the conversion from DC into AC. The system will have, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 different arrays. We'll get you up on the roof here in a little bit, but you'll see the complication of the roof. We do not have a simple roof line. And you see some of the other houses in our neighborhood have these nice, long, sloping roofs, like my neighbor here. Ours is complicated in every form and nature. Tesla couldn't even find a way to put panels on the house, as there were so many roof jacks and changes in ridges and hips and valleys that they didn't want to mess with it. So we're out here with a solar company planning to do somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 arrays, all brought down to a sub panel through an emergency disconnect and into our junction box. In order to make this just a little bit more complicated, we also have a emergency standby generator that has to be shut off from the solar when it goes through, and we need to manage ensuring we don't get solar power back to the grid. We don't have any batteries on this project. Most of Texas has some sort of solar buyback program, and we're not on time of use, and so the economics for solar just doesn't make sense.
All right, step one for going solar, start a brisket.
Nice little setup going on. We got the sub panel. There's our emergency disconnect. It's going to come over into this gutter box, which is absolutely chock full. Apparently the Enphase box is going to house our surge protector, and this little CT up here at the top is going to do all of our combination power. So this box is going to be over the left here. And one of our issues is we've got to be 3 feet from that gas meter with all of our electrical work. So we've got a little bit of room, but it's been pretty tight if we tried to put everything over there. So we're going to run the Enphase box to the right of the meter, and then everything else is over here on the left. Time to see what we're doing with the. So we're getting there. We're coming close to the stall now. We're at about 166 here, which is just slightly cooler than what it is in Texas. Okay, the electricians have been hard at work. I'm pulling the power down off the roof from the outside, going through the Enphase combiner box. I didn't actually think we were going to get one of these. The original plan was just to have the CT unit, but apparently you can't buy those separately anymore. So now we've got the full Enphase unit, which I kind of like. So you can see here's the consumption coil there, production coil rather. The consumption coil will go somewhere else. I think they're over here in this pile. You can see them here and here. So we've got quite a few yet to go in. Over here, we're going to bring the solar down through here. We'll run a surge protector off of here. They seem to like this guy's surge protector. I went with the first surge, which is a little bit different. So this says it's a 108 amps. These are 140. I've heard decent things about these, so we'll go with those are okay for now. It's going to come out of the combiner box. I think we've got 5 arrays down through the chase, through this little guy here, around into here, and then it'll go through the first sub panel into the disconnect, and then into the gutter box. And everything will be controlled through here to avoid the generator issue and keeping the system live. So they've made pretty good progress. We're about 5 hours into it at this point. Most of the rails are up on the roof. Things are moving along. So we're up on the roof now. everybody's at lunch. So here we've got our microinverter, and here's the device we're using to make it all seat. So this slips under the shingle here, and then there's a little grommet on the outside of there that keeps it weather tight. So it's fair to say we have a bunch of these as you're looking around. Not completely installed, and you can see they're not quite leveled out yet. If you're watching this video, you're probably thinking, what are you going to do about all the shadows on these pipes? It is something I'm concerned about, but one thing at a time. This is what that conduit bracket looks like. A little flashing going up and through. Holds the conduit. Here's an interesting one. You can see the caulk coming out. I think that's a silicone caulk. But again, we've got instances where the little rubber piece is protruding out of the side there. I don't know if that's a terrible concept, because you clearly have rubber underneath it, but I venture to guess that's over torqued. The nice thing about that is it does mean they hit the right part of the roof system, because you couldn't get that tear out. It was different. But if you're thinking about how that rubber seal works, I want to give it a second thought or two. So this is what they're using for sealant. Flip it around maybe so you can read it. This is the solar install caulk gun. It's cut for a huge bead. So a lot of conversation went in on these guys. These guys are the, I don't know if you can see that, they're the quick mount system, if you get it right. This is a flashing style piece. You see here, there's a raised edge to it. When you put on the L mount, it goes flush. And so I'll try to zoom in so you can see what's going on. So this piece here is now perfectly flush with the top of this. And when you put in the bolt has a rubber seal on it. So they do their pilot hole. They get ready and they drop this in. When I drop it in, it goes down and draws it down. Now, you'd think there's a little bit of give here, but they drive this thing all the way over this. So I'm convinced that when they come down here, it's actually sealing on this metal bed, because it takes quite a bit of force to get this thing to seat all the way down. So I think once it comes down, you actually seal here as well on this particular item, although they don't say it. You can mount it this way, this way, this way. Ours are mounted this way today. I'm actually making them go back up today and put extra caulk on the bolt head itself, because when they drove those bolt heads down, I'll show you a picture of it, a lot of those rubber bits squeezed out, tore. I mean, just a general mess. I don't know if the manufacturer can give us some advice, but it looks like that didn't really work. Either our impact wrenches are too strong, or impact drivers, or something's going on. But overall, let me grab a tape measure. So this particular bolt is 3.5 inches long with 2.5 inches of thread engagement. So the spec says that we've got to be 2.5 inches of thread engagement. And while we got the tape measure out, we might as well do the last step. So it's a 9-inch wide by, I think it's 12-inch panel. So these things slipped on pretty good. I was pretty happy with them. There you go. There's the quick mount. So these are the REC panels, black on black. Should look pretty good on the roof. This last one we have is the QCell panel. So we're running a comparison between the REC and the QCell. So you notice on the back here, we'll come around to this side, you got an all white back, same as the REC. You've got 3 separate sections of the panel. It's a half cut panel. I think they're divided in 3 different zones somehow. Someone will tell me if I'm wrong. But you'll notice the REC has some struts in the middle, 2 struts, and they're slightly smaller. And I think they're supposed to provide slightly more power. So we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know. So this is the moment the panels start going up on the roof. It's also the exact same moment that you're really glad that somebody else is doing this work. These are heavy panels. They're about 45 pounds a piece and quite clearly pretty large. There's about 45 of them that need to go up on the roof. They're going to get about half of these done before the sun sets, but it's a lot of work, and I really appreciate the effort from Texas Direct. So as the panels continue to go up on the roof, we're going to get ready for some brisket. So the brisket's been done for a little while now. It's a Texas brisket inspired by Aaron Franklin, if you know Aaron, and his brisket is amazing. So hopefully the guys appreciate it after a long day of work, and they can come back tomorrow and finish up the rest of the work. I think we've gotten about 19 or 20 panels to put on. You've got this whole side here, and the rest of the panels, the house with the exception of the one you see right there, are all complete. So good progress on the panel laying. There's quite a bit of work left to do on the electrical. I had to cover them in a bit of the silicone or the caulk. Try to protect that head on the ones where the rubber bit tore out. You can see here that rubber grommets in good shape, and here they've covered in a caulk. I don't know that it's absolutely needed, but it's what we've done. This is the other thing we're looking at. So we've got this conduit here with no junction box. It's got a little cover in it, but no box. Tell me what you think about that. So we're back at the drone footage, looking at the end of the day, really. It's about halfway through the second day of install. They've got most of the panels up. There's a few panels that still need to be adjusted. You can see on the upper right hand corner some of them are out of place. They'll clean up the ends of the rails, paint some of the conduit, and then come back a little bit later in the following week to do the electrical work. There was a few different issues with the electrical work. You may have noticed the sub panels reasonably small. That needs to be replaced with a larger sub panel, and then they're going to make some adjustments. The supplier sent out some of the wrong panels, so these panels you see in the upper right hand corner are actually the wrong panel and will need to be taken down and replaced with the correct panel. It's the REC and Peak 3s, the 400 watt versions. So the guys at Texas Direct noticed there was an error and brought it to my attention. Are going to pull them down and bring them back this next week. Quite a bit of extra work, but glad they came through and decided that they'd let me know. Appreciate Anthony here doing all this work. I'll leave a link for Texas Direct Solar in the comments below. Thanks for watching.